right, hello. Welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. We are playing Hunter of the Reckoning tonight. We are starting up our Chronicle. We've done a session 0. Since that session 0 ended, we've added another Hunter. We've expanded the cell, so it's going to be very fun. Aaron and I have played several times in other games, different channels, but for the first time, we get Aaron on our channel. And I see a few recognizable faces, not faces, but names. I can't actually see them in the chat, but they're there. But how's everyone doing? But yeah, we're starting up. New game, new system. Session 0 is all about just like world building, character creation and stuff. Now we get to butcher all the rules. So it should be a lot of fun. And yeah, we go from there. Yeah. Yeah, it's just one of those things where you study for a test and then you sit down to take the test and everything you studied is just gone. And it's just like, how long before it comes back? And that's kind of where I am with the rules. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully someone knows how to play. So let's do some intros. Let's introduce some characters. We did learn about 3 of them a little bit, but they've probably evolved since then as people have probably made some tweaks and changes. So we'll learn a little bit about them, and then we'll dive in and we'll learn even more about them. But yeah, if you're unfamiliar with Hunter of the Reckoning, set in the world of darkness, they're playing normal mortal people who happen to know about the supernatural. They don't know a whole lot about it, but they know the supernatural stuff exists. The specifics, and how deep it goes, they're not sure. And they, for reasons, for their, for whatever it is that drives them, they hunt. And they try to take these monsters down. And so we'll dive into our specific version of the world of darkness and where we're setting here shortly. But we're going to start with Long. Long, tell us about your character, Alvin Tao.
And Alvin Tao, he's a martial truth seeker. It's my concept. I am 38. I pretty much a judo martial artist, mastery at that. My ambition is to elevate that mastery. I've got a dojo that I've been running for a couple of years now. I have a small family, a wife and a kid. Let's see. Pretty well-groomed, dark hair, eyes, casual formal wear. Actually went to college for...
Oh yeah? Where'd you go? You a Sun Devil?
Yeah, I'm a Sun Devil.
Okay.
I have a BS in anatomy.
Okay. Oh, really? Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. So how old did you say? Do we know about how old Alvin is?
He's 38.
And he's got how old is his kid?
She's around 8 now.
Oh, I'm gonna switch us over to. We have a little map that we have our relationship map. It might not be easy to see as it's kind of going crazy. She's how old did you say? She's 8.
She's 8. So I had her when I was 30.
Okay, I'll have to figure out some way to make her have repercussions for having a family. Let's see. Okay, and so and you said a dojo. So I remember the dojo. Did you have a name? Was that the Fists of Harmony?
Fists of Harmony was the name of the dojo.
Okay, and isn't there a rival dojo?
That was the running idea, but
okay, you didn't go with it.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought we were gonna go like Cobra Kai. Okay, well we decided not to. Okay, fair enough. All right. What do you do? What do you do like normal every day? Like when you're not hunting? Like do you have a job?
Every day. The dojo's my job, so I'm pretty much over there teaching like afternoon sessions, evening sessions.
Okay.
There are small classes, and then in the night, actually, there's a little something I do. I do like underground fighting. Keep that like under the down low.
Okay. Underground fight. So you're like you're literally in a fight club. Is what you're saying? All right.
That's our second Fight Club reference.
If we don't talk about this, we'll have to cut that off the stream. Okay. Sounds good. Anything else you want to share? Well, obviously we're gonna do more intros with them in scene and stuff. But anything else? Any other little tidbits?
That's about the surface level there.
Okay, perfect. So then next we're gonna go over to Ashley and Elaine Graves. Ashley, tell us about Elaine Graves.
My name's Elaine, and I'm a quiet-spoken woman. I work from home. I have a degree in technology. I do basic troubleshooting for people. Sometimes some hacking, but not often. My ambition is to just kind of keep my neighborhood safe. I live in a townhouse. My neighbor's Mr. Ponder. He's a deer. He's constantly wandering over to my side of the house all the time. I'm 27, but I have some resting bitch face a little bit, they could say. She's got dark brown hair. It's kind of cut in a shag. Usually I'm dressed just in business casual because she used to be corporate and then she started working from home.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm writing this down. This is all very useful information. I wish I knew a week ago. Used to be. No, I'm just teasing. Okay. You said you went to college as well. You have a degree in technology.
I do.
Are you a local Valley person, or are you a transplant?
I'm a transplant. I'm not from here normally.
All right. How long you been in the Valley?
It's my 3rd year in the Valley.
Okay, only 3 years. Okay, so you're still pretty new. All right, 3rd year. All right, fair enough. Sounds good. What else did I have for you? So you work from home. So do you do tech support like for a company, or do you do, or like what? Expand on that a little bit, if you could.
I do. I work for a company. It's just like a small startup more than anything.
Okay.
So I make my own hours. I like to work overnight.
Okay. Tech startup company. All right. We can probably dig into that later, figure out a couple more details about that one. I like it. And so you got no family, right? Like you're just by yourself here. You're a loner.
Yeah, they don't. I moved down here after my grandma passed.
We're sorry.
But my hairstylist Violet actually moved down with me.
Mm-hmm.
She used to help. She used to help take care of my grandma. We're best friends.
Oh, geez. Melissa, please add complication to our audience totals. So we've got a bits running thing. Chuck has already rained some chaos on you all, so I get a complication later on. I won't do it now during character introductions. That would be a weird thing.
Just kidding. That hairstylist friend of yours.
You said you had a hairstylist.
Your
Sorry.
touchstone's dead.
She's gone. Try again. Okay. All right. I think I got. Okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
All right.
I only have like one visible scar that kind of worries people. It makes my cheek look really gone.
Okay. All your scars are emotional. Is that what it is?
No, it's just all the other ones are under clothing.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll dive into some of those. You took a few interesting like edges and perks and stuff. We'll dive into that later. Okay. All right. Next up, Aaron. Well, how do you pronounce your character's name, and then tell us about them?
Well, Quixote Rust. And by the way, thanks for having me on the channel.
Of course,
really
man.
Looking forward to this. Quixote Rust. That's what he's called. It's not his real name. He knows it's not his real name. He has no idea what his real name is. But if you saw him walking down the street, he's an average-sized kid. Probably around 20. You might think he's a street person, though. He wears a pair of jeans, but they're more patches than denim, and a old Baja sweater under a Gore-Tex field jacket and a pair of Doc Marten boots. You usually see him wandering the streets at night with his shaggy brown hair, muttering to himself. Never really looks up at anybody, but if he did, you'd see his eyes, weird color of brown, almost the color of rust. If you see him during the day, he's wearing a pair of mirrored round shades, just like Lennon, that he managed to steal on his first day out. If you spin the clock back a few years, he's sitting at his family dinner table. He's 9 years old. And something, ghost, demon, something crawled down his throat and started wearing his body like a skin suit, slaughtered his whole family. Police came. They found the 9-year-old sitting in a pool of his family's blood. Needless to say, he found himself in FCI, Phoenix Correctional Institute. And he stayed there in the criminally insane ward, growing up. Possessed. But every once in a while, whatever had its grips on him would let him go for a few days at a time. And he'd beg people to help him fight against this horror that had his soul. And that's when some of them started calling him Quixote, because they said he was just tilting at windmills. Others, less favorable people, called him Rusty because of the shade of his eyes. That's the only name he's known since then. But a psychiatrist came along when he was 19, Dr. Freud, no relation. She recognized something else was going on. So she reached out to the vicar over at St. Mary's Basilica. And he said they didn't do exorcisms, particularly on the criminally insane. Wasn't a good image for the church. But he got her in touch with a Sister LeBlanc. Apparently, she used to work for some sketchy folks out of the Vatican. She came down, and yet, sure enough, she managed to pull whatever the hell was in him out. It raked most of his memories out of his soul as it was being torn out of his body, but she wasn't tough enough to kill it off. The sister and Dr. Freud managed to smuggle him out of the Correctional Institute, and he's been on the street for about 8 months now, fighting his private war against everything that's evil. He knows it's a war. He knows everybody else doesn't recognize it, but he was lucky enough to run across a few people that kind of did know. So they're his squad in this guerrilla warfare.
So with Sister LeBlanc, is she in fact like Society of St. Leopold?
She was. She was. She had seen enough stuff that she kind of lost her nerve, but she's a good enough exorcist that they didn't take any extreme measures. They keep her as a contact, and she moved to Phoenix because of increased activity in the area.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So she's kind of a former member, but still in good standing or something like that.
Yep.
Okay.
That's why she's a 3-point advantage contact for me.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Sounds good. Let's see. FCI, St. Mary's Basilica. All right. You're giving me so many things that I probably would have asked questions about already. So I already have that. All right. 8 months on the street, which means the crew has been together probably less than that then, since you've just been on the street. So you figure maybe 6 months or so. I don't know, something like that. You all can figure that out. That's for you all to decide. But that's our window now. It's the new window. And then finally, we've got Melissa playing Maria Baum, who I had a Dr. Baum as a statistics and an algebra teacher when I was in high school, and that's who I associate that name with now. So tell us about Maria.
Yes. So Maria is a greedy inquisitive. So that's kind of the combination for her drive and creed. So her day job, she is a plumber. She is apparently the senior member of this group because she is 45. So she's the elder statesman, so to speak, I suppose.
Geriatric over here.
So she has short reddish hair. She's frequently, kind of wearing work overalls, kind of always looks kind of grungy, dirty, definitely kind of under the nails, kind of that like kind of never quite clean kind of a look. She is a native to the Phoenix area. So she was raised by her aunt and uncle. Aunt has passed away. Uncle is old and in a facility at this point. One of her touchstones is her younger sister, Evie, who kind of went the like financial services route. So we are equally, I would say, focused on money and acquisition of money. I think we're just going about it in different directions.
Okay, I got it. So you've got Evie, you've got aunt and uncle. Aunt is deceased. Uncle is in a facility, like retirement facility, or is he does he need special upkeep, or is it?
Yeah,
just, okay.
It's definitely pricey.
Okay,
like memory care kind of a thing.
Okay.
So that's why, like, he's not a touchstone per se.
Okay. So maybe are we thinking like he's like a dementia patient or something like that? Probably.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. Gotcha.
And then Maria also has a mentor, Katya.
Mm-hmm.
who is a journeyman hunter.
Yeah, and I think we said, like you and I were talking about this earlier. That's Valley Trade Supply, right? She runs like a trade supply, some kind of not a junkyard, but more like plumbing, HVAC stuff, supply store, sometime downtown, somewhere downtown. Yep. Somewhere where she can have like a big junkyard and kind of make strange orders kind of that and things like
South Phoenix kind of industrial area.
Oh, yeah. We're going to know that area well by the time we're done. Okay.
Yeah, we are. So yeah, she lives in kind of the family home, kind of small bungalow, kind of downtown South Phoenix area.
You don't, do you or do you not live with Evie? Are you two separate? No. Okay, good. Because I remember, didn't you also invest in like some special stuff for the safe house? Or is
yes,
that
I do. Yes, okay. I have a safe house with an armory.
Okay, good. All right. So I think that's it for characters. I feel like I should stop stalling, and we should probably start up and do some things, right? Okay. Mm-hmm. So
let's hunt some stuff.
As
they say.
Calm down. That's where the rules get into play and it gets complicated.
At least let me be inquisitive.
Of course. Please do. This is very much going to be driven by you. All right, so let me get a little music going here. I'm gonna set a scene for us, give us a little opening, and then we're gonna go from there. So we'll just roll with this. Indulge me here for a moment. As we get a little music going, make sure the music's going. All right. I like it because I can use all my spooky Delta Green music again. This is great. All right. I have so many things ready to go. I'm going to throw out some ice cream trucks. Okay. All right, here we go. We're going to start cinematically, okay? We're going to open on an aerial shot of Phoenix, nighttime. It's summertime as well. Tall downtown buildings, they're shining fairly bright in an otherwise dark sky. And towards the ground, we can see that the streets, the highways are imbued with like oranges and reds of street lamps and brake lights. We can see planes hurrying to land, some of them hurrying to take off, others getting taxied along the spread of Sky Harbor Airport. LED billboards are flickering along the interstates, advertising casinos and resorts, accident lawyers and check-cashing venues, Powerball jackpots and political campaigns, mega churches, each lie promising a different route to salvation. Off to the east, we can see the silhouette of the Superstition Mountains framing the valley. And as the camera starts to pan southward, we see a solid wall of dust from ground to sky. Lightning is ratcheting within it. It's cascading through the wall itself, and it's sweeping northward over Phoenix's suburbs and its sister cities, Gilbert, Mesa, Tempe, Scottsdale, your homes. The storm passes over Phoenix itself, construction sites and shopping malls, gated communities, industrial lots. It drifts westward towards retirement villages, agricultural communes. It's going to pass over these bone-dry nature preserves and a nuclear generating station way out west, and then eventually it diminishes en route to like Lake Havasu in California, but the damage is done. The aerial shot, we kind of shift back. Now we're over this darkened, dust-covered Phoenix. You can hear these distant car and house alarms that are blaring, these first responder sirens that are crescendoing louder and louder as they drive past. Vehicles that were huddling beneath overpasses are starting to creep back out onto highways, honking and cursing at each other as they do. And then, as this is all happening, the lights that brighten the city and the valley, well, they suddenly wink out, brown out, black out. One street and then a dozen more follow. One darkened neighborhood expands to a city quadrant. One quadrant grows into the city itself. Darkness permeates as the power grid strains under the heat, the dust storm, and the impatient populace of Phoenix Valley metro area that's so insistent on their toys power flickers, returns, dissipates again. Over and over, this happens throughout the night. Somewhere in this darkened, dust-covered valley are the four of you. Now, maybe you're together, maybe you're separate and putting out personal fires, maybe you're so engrossed with more important tasks that you don't really notice how the valley so quickly and easily becomes panicked. So I'm going to ask you, where are you? You can be by yourself, you can be together, you can be with one other person, you can be with nobody, doesn't matter. Where are you? And what are you doing as this dust storm rolls in and this blackout kind of follows on its tails? Where are you? We can go in order, or I can, you know what, I'll randomly pick somebody. Ashley, you're up. Where's Elaine?
Elaine just finished her work day and she was at the gym when the storm hit. She had just finished her last set. She was working legs today when she ran out to her car really quick, and she's going to start heading home because she's worried because she's noticing the power's going out. Make sure that her neighbor's okay.
Okay. You specifically have mentioned how one of your ambition is to keep your neighborhood safe, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So on your way home, you're driving in these streets, though you can see the traffic lights aren't working properly. They got that kind of, some of them are flashing as the light kind of comes back onto the grid and they need to leave. Others you can see kind of cop cars, highway traffic. They're trying to like pull and go. That's stop and go traffic here and there. People have lost all semblance of control. Some people just sort of plunge forward because they were there first. Others wait. You start noticing as you're driving back. Do we know where Elaine lives? Whereabouts? Doesn't have to. You don't have to get it perfect. Or you're just like, is it? You said it's townhouses, right? Are these nice? Is it a nice place?
Not. It's not the worst, but it's not yet middle class. It's kind of in between.
Okay. So on your way back to your home, to check in on Mr. Ponder, you notice, in addition to like this log jam of traffic around one of the major intersections, major cross streets, you notice that there's some looting being done in a nearby shop. Like what's a shop nearby? Is there like a not like grocery store, but like some sort of shop? Is it electrical? Is it like a computer shop? Is it?
Yeah, there's like the local like fix it pawn shop.
Okay, so you see a group of, we'll say, 20 somethings maybe. You can see them are like they're taking what looks like. You're not like looks like waste baskets, or like they've taken like those old newspaper containers and they're trying to like hurl it through the front door, like the glass where they hadn't quite brought those like the metal grids to close and protect it, and just kind of hurl it through the front door of this fix-it pawn shop. And you can see a group of these people just like crazily,
How many?
Kind of just dripping in. We'll say 4.
So Elaine will roll up and she'll open her door and kind of stand there, and she's got her hand in her purse that's kind of tucked on her hip, and
Okay.
she'll start yelling at him, "Hey, what the fuck you think you're doing?"
And so you can see a couple of them plunge inside already, but as you come up to the side of the car, you can see they both there's 2 that sort of stay outside with you, and their heads sort of whip around, and when you look at them, like there's probably like a sense of not hesitation, but like you see something in their face that doesn't quite seem right. Like their eyes are looking at you, but at the same time they're like looking past you. Like there's a twitchiness to their faces in some ways. You notice that their hands are kind of covered in you think it's blood. You're not sure where it's coming from here and there. And you can see that it's like they've already been through one scruff in the last, recently. Like there's like smears here and there, and they kind of like step towards you a little bit, like their heads just twitching ever so slightly, tweaking a little bit, and they start moving towards you now. What would you like to do?
Pull out a gun.
Okay. Pull out a gun, and you notice that. Do you have a gun?
Well, because doesn't it say like possessions? It's kind of like generic. Okay.
You could have a gun. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's Arizona.
It's Arizona. Yeah.
I have the gun.
Yeah, it's fine. So yeah, you have a gun. You pull out a gun, and it doesn't seem to phase them. They just continue to just sort of lumber in your direction, and you can see that they've got these like, you can tell they're on something. Is what's happening. Like you can see that they are on something clearly. One of them, their wrist, their hand is dripping. The other is just sort of moving towards you. They don't really seem to be kind of scared away by the sign of this gun. What do you want to do? They're not quite on you. They're not quite on you. Like you can easily get in the car and drive away. You could fire at them. You can do whatever you like.
No, she doesn't want to kill anybody, but Elaine will probably she'll get back in her car and she'll be like, God damn it, fucking these kids. And then she'll get in her car and she'll call the cops.
Okay.
And
so you get
make a report.
You get on your cell phone, you go to call, and like you get 911 kind of kicks in. Mm-hmm. Like you can hear it kind of going through the process, then it kind of cuts out. Like all servers are busy type of deal going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're rerouting, like someone catches, and it's a little bit longer wait than you intended, but eventually like you're able to sort of convey like what's happening, where it's happening. But as you're driving away, you just hear something crash, and you look back, and like one of them has thrown, and there's like this crack in the back windshield of your car where they've just thrown some brick or chunk of concrete that's on the ground in your direction. And then as you're watching in the window, they just start to run back into the pawn shop with you being gone.
Okay.
All right.
My car's a beater anyways.
It's even worse now. Maria, where are you?
So Maria has kind of an old, like, historic home in, like, kind of South Phoenix area. It's got, like, a detached garage in the back. So she's a native to the area. She, kind of gets the whole monsoon scene. So kind of what you see in her in the garage is that she's got, like, her phone out, and she is, like, actively watching the radar. She's got the radio on that's getting, like, the updated, like, news and weather updates. She's got her cat Annie on her lap, and she is, like, tinkering. So
okay. What are you tinkering? What are you tinkering with? Is there a project you've been working on recently?
Yeah, so she, one of the perks for her is that she is a drone jockey. So that's what she's tinkering with.
You're tinkering with a drone? Okay. Mm-hmm. It's already functional. Are you trying to add, like, new functionality to it or something like that?
Yeah, I'm going to say, I was thinking it kind of got damaged, and so I'm kind of bringing it back online.
So since you have access to radar, you notice that there's like this big sweeping green mass it's kind of spread west beyond Buckeye towards, what's it called, Tonopah? Is that what it's called? Where you can see it's kind of passing over where the generating station is. You can see that there's looks like there's another range. It's kind of closing. It's smaller. The band itself coming from the southeast, it's probably going to sort of be a nice, like, ripple effect that happens a little while later. You're hearing updates about certain communities are without power. Others have power here and there. There's reminders, obviously, just stay, if you're at home, just stay at home. Everything will be fine. If you're not at home, drive carefully. Please drive somewhere safe. If the dust comes, the storm comes back,
pull off the side of the road.
Pull off the side of the road. That kind of thing. You're getting all those pretty standard stuff. Seems to be happening for you. No issues. Okay. That's fine. Next up, we'll say Quixote. What's Quixote doing? Oh, you're muted, Aaron.
Quixote spent the day on campus. He snuck into Taylor Place in the morning while the kids were leaving for class. ate some leftover pizzas that were left in the common area, and racked out on one of the couches. Then, as night started to fall, it was time to hunt. So he made his way out, pulled his hood up, made his way over towards Hayden Library. And you see him, he sits down, drops a sign down next to him that says, "Please spare some change," puts a cup out, and he pulls out his beat up war journal, takes the rubber band off it, opens it. You see a sketch of one of the librarians. And next to it, it says Quisling with a question mark. He's just waiting, watching, so he can wait till this librarian comes out so he can follow them. Or he hopes that he gets jumped, either so he can make some money off of one of the people who don't realize we're in the middle of a war, or even better yet, get jumped by one of the monsters so he can get a little bit of vengeance.
So you're outside Hayden's library. Oh gosh, I know exactly where you're at. You're outside Hayden's library. You're on the steps underneath the underhang. There's still some wind kind of, flying around. Like there's occasional droplets of water that are coming with this, but mostly it's just dirt being thrown around. You can see the windows and the front glass of Hayden's library is like kind of coated in this bit of dust. And you can see that inside the library, the lights flicker off, and all you see through there is like the emergency lights that kind of kick on. You know that some of the buildings on campus have their own sort of separate generators. It sort of depends on which on which building you're in, but you can see the lights kind of come on, and you probably can vaguely hear the sounds of people talking on the inside. And after a little while, you notice that there's like a parade of people that are leaving, and some of them are complaining, like, "This is ridiculous. I got exams next week. I got, are you kidding? Like, I know it's summer, but this is ridiculous." And you get the sense that the library is closing down. Like they're closing down just simply because the lights itself. You look across campus and you can see that that's happening. Like it's summertime on ASU, so there's not as high a population as other parts of the year, but there's still a scattered few folks around. You can see it looks like there's utility people in like golf carts zooming around kind of left and right. No one's really paying too much mind to you. Like panhandling on the steps of Hayden's library probably would get a shoe pretty quickly, but in this situation, you're kind of left to your own devices. And then finally, we're going to kick it over to Alvin. Alvin, where are you during all of this?
I'm in my small home north of downtown Phoenix. My daughter's on the dining room table doing her usual drawings. I'm on the stove stirring this risotto I started. I've got peas being added to it.
Okay.
I'm on the phone with my wife. She's a bit late. She's calling me about a dust storm that's hitting her.
She says, "Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm pulled over. I'm on the side of the road. I'm in an underpass, and now no one's nice. Everyone just no one's letting anyone go. Like if everyone just took their turn, we'd all get out of here. But no, everyone's just got to try to cut in front. So I don't know when I'm gonna get home. I'm not gonna get home. It's gonna be a while still, though. I can see the brake lights. There's got to be an accident up there. Some idiot probably didn't pull off the side of the road, and who knows."
It's fine. Just come whenever it's safe.
Okay. How's Seely?
No, she's doing fine. She's asking where you are, but you can hold up.
What is Seely drawing?
She likes to draw these monsters, and it's pretty much me protecting her.
Okay. What kind of monsters?
Just like blobs, undescribable, no real figure.
Thank you. That's ammunition for later. Okay. So yeah, you see her. She's drawing. She kind of stares up at you. She, occasionally she's like, "Daddy, where's Mom?" Like that kind of thing over and over again. Okay. So I'm going to kick back to Quixote for a moment. Quixote, the swarm of people are leaving. And finally, you see the librarian kind of step out. Would you say that Quixote probably it would be fair that Quixote has like some sort of cheap, like over-the-counter burner or something like that?
Oh
on there?
yeah.
Okay. So right as you're kind of getting up to follow, you feel the vibration in your pocket go off. You feel the phone kind of worst timing.
He looks at the librarian. He's like, yes.
You hear a voice, familiar voice, on the other end. You hear, "This is what I get. This is what I get for poking my nose into things. This is what I get." And you hear the sound of someone like out of breath. You look at the phone display. You know, even a flip phone. Maybe you recognize the number. It's your contact, Brock Davies, over at a homeless shelter downtown Phoenix somewhere. And you can tell he's out of breath. You can tell that he's running. You can hear kind of footsteps, heavy breathing, and he's kind of panicking. I tried 911. No one answered. I tried 911. I tried. So it was attacking Shelby. I saw it was attacking Shelby. It was attacking Shelby. It was moving. I don't know what it was. It wasn't human. It moved too fast. I shouldn't have done anything. Why did I do this? I should just stay at the shelter. Why did I get involved? Why did I get involved? And you can tell like they're hyperventilating to the point of like panic. Tell us about Brock. What can you tell us about Brock that you know?
Brock is the most compassionate man you can imagine. He grew up in a loving, supportive family. He got a degree in the humanities, and he decided that he needed to give something back. And so he started teaching at the homeless shelter, and he's become the manager there.
Okay.
He is almost incapable of a violent thought. It's just completely antithesis to his nature. But he's a good-looking guy. He's a big guy. You wouldn't expect it from him. I mean, he looks like a football player, but he literally would not hurt a fly.
Okay. And so you hear him kind of panicking, hyperventilating. You hear him running. This is what I get. This is what I get. He mentions a name. He said it was attacking Shelby. It was attacking Shelby. I tried to help her, but then it just moved too fast. It just moved fast. It was there, and then it wasn't, and then the eyes. Something was not right. Why is nobody answering? Why is nobody answering?
Brock.
Who is this?
Brock, it's Quixote. You need to go to a public place. Go to the Starbucks on the corner.
Starbucks.
Go there now.
Starbucks. Okay. The eyes were not right. The eyes they weren't right.
Doesn't matter. Just go there. I'll be there.
Okay. Wait. What was that? And then you hear a sound, Quixote, like behind. What was that? No, it's there. It's behind me. It's my. And then you hear him say, like, the last thing he says, "Tell my family." And then you hear something crash, and the phone goes dead.
Quixote takes off at a dead sprint. I mean, just shoulder checks this librarian out of the way. He doesn't know how to drive. He has no car. He has no money. So he's running full out, and he dials Maria. Pick up.
Maria, you're tinkering. Your phone goes
off.
off.
She is always looking at the radar whenever a storm comes through. She wants to know exactly where it is. So the phone is right there. And she's sort of annoyed because now she can't watch the radar, but she's going to pick it up. Yeah,
Maria,
what's up?
It's Rust. You need to move. Get everyone. You need to meet me downtown at 3rd Street homeless shelter.
Okay. What's going on?
I don't know.
Okay. All right. I'll get everybody. I'll see you there. I'm probably about 10 minutes away. How about you?
I'm at the campus. I'm running.
All right. I will get everybody. And so she'll hang up pretty quickly.
Okay. Who you call next? Maria, I mean, it was probably be you. I think we'd be calling people. You said get everyone together.
Yeah,
Who
exactly.
do you call?
Yep. So I will call Elaine.
Okay. Elaine, you're stepping, you're probably on the, somewhere in you're on the doorstep of your townhouse. Got home. You're looking at now the damage on the back windshield of your car at this point. It's worse than you thought. You're going to have to get some safe light repair.
I pulled it in. I pulled it in backwards, so okay, it's towards my garage.
You see that the vegetation that you had, in the front yard, whether it's trees or bushes, has all been just sort of torn up. It's coated. Doesn't whatever greenery there was, it's kind of not really there. It's dry season anyway, so a lot of things are dying. Do you check on Mr. Ponder first before you go into your own house?
Yeah. So Elaine, because I imagine that it's kind of like, I used to live in a townhouse. So
okay.
It looks like one house that's just kind of split in two, and the two front doors are right next to each other. So she'll just kind of step on over and knock on his door.
Yeah. It's like a fancy duplex. Yeah. Okay.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You knock on the door. Door opens after some delay. You hear something fall on the inside. You could tell he's struggling a little bit. What can you tell me about Mr. Ponder so I know how to play him? What detail? How I know you said you checking in on him. He doesn't seem, he's not always there. Tell me about him.
Mr. Ponder means a lot to Elaine because he reminds her a lot of her grandma. He's suffering from dementia, and his family isn't really there for him. So he's in the early stages, but it's rapidly accelerating. So Elaine took his car keys because he shouldn't be driving.
Okay.
And but he's a sweet old man. Maybe yeah.
So you hear from the other side something slam, and then you hear a curse. It's like, "Ah, ah." And he gets to the door, and he's like, "Who is it?"
It's Elaine. Mr. Ponder, are you all right?
Elaine. And he opens the door, and you can see he's got a little blemish up on his forehead. It's not a full-on cut, but you can tell he's got a welt. And you look behind, and you can see that the trash can, just a few feet in, off to the right where the cutoff goes into the kitchen, it's kind of knocked over. There's trash spilt all into the ground. You can see, what looks like old yogurt cups and things like that have just spilled out. And he's like, "Why did you do that? Don't scare an old man."
Oh, I'm so
What's
sorry.
wrong with you?
Did your power's out too?
I can't see a thing. I can't find my flashlights.
Yeah, let me go get mine. And so Elaine will run out to her car and she'll grab a flashlight. And then
as you're out by the car, you feel your phone go off. You see, look, and I mean, Maria, is that how you have her in your phone? Just Maria, or is there any special way you keep it? Okay, so M. You see M go off, pops up on the screen.
And she'll pick it up as she's digging in her car to get because she's got a crate in her back in her trunk.
Sure.
And she's digging through. And what's up?
Russ just called. We got to get over to the homeless shelter right away.
All right, let me just get Ponder put away. I need to get him some lights. Power's out.
You hear as you're saying that, you hear him yell.
I'm coming. Give me. All right, I'll be right there. And
about it.
Elaine doesn't even wait. She just hangs up and she goes.
Okay. You go back up and you can see he's like, "Oh, Elaine, when did you get here? What happened? I paid the bill. I don't know what happened."
Yeah, it's monsoon season. Power's out. It's not just you. It's me too. Why don't we get you settled upstairs? I got a flashlight and some electric candles in my apartment or my house. I'll go grab them.
You're such a sweetheart. You're such a sweetheart. I should have had my own children. Did he have children? I don't know.
He did, but they're pieces of shit.
Okay. So he probably says then, "Better than my own children." He just kind of like pats you, like you kind of like the hand kind of comes out a little shaky and kind of onto your hand. Very, very tender, very nice man. And you go and you kind of you sort of hurry to get him settled, but at the same time make sure
I'm making sure,
right, you don't cut any corners. And
so
then
I got like an ice pack. Yeah.
Yeah, you get everything taken care of, and he's just sort of talks about this and that, and like he's like, what? And every now and then he's like, the power's out. That's strange.
And she just kind of tucks him in.
Okay. Then Alvin, your phone goes off. Do you have Maria in your phone any special sort of way?
The plumber.
Okay. All right. Plumber pops up. You're there. You've got your risotto. You've been stirring it for a while. It's ready. It looks good. Your wife's not home. Seely's still there. Legs kind of swinging. You got a candle set up on the dining table to give some light. But your wife's not here, and the plumber is on the phone. What do you do?
I'll step out of the room, pick it up. What is it?
Okay.
Russ just called. We've got to get over to the homeless shelter right away.
In the middle of this baboon?
That, the work we do doesn't wait for the weather to pass. I'm not thrilled about it either, but, we got to do what we got to do. Coming?
Better be worth it. I'll just hang up. I'll go to my daughter, give her the rundown. Mom's gonna be home any moment now. Just stay here. Don't answer the door. I'll be back.
Okay, Daddy. She sort of looks up at you, like, and she's drawing away, like it's like these big dark scribbles, like where she's just wearing down like the Crayola blacks and the dark blues and stuff, just really getting in there. And there's just all these amoebic like shadows moving about. You got like a picture of you, your wife, her. There's like a nice big bright sun, but then there's these hulking shadows that are like peeking out from behind trees in your house.
Like, it's okay, Daddy. I'm never alone.
You can trust me, Daddy. Okay. And so you leave your 8-year-old daughter alone. Okay.
Yeah, make sure you eat your peas. I get my motorbike and I'll drive now.
Okay, so you leave. All right. Leaves daughter alone. The storyteller will remember this. Okay. Okay, so all of you then get in your various vehicles. Does anyone actually go and pick Coyote up? Does anyone go pick up Rust? Because Rust
probably
is
closest.
Yeah.
So I'll grab him.
All right. So we don't have to play all that out. We can just say phone calls happen. Streets are, exchanged and
I like to imagine he's actually running down the street.
Oh,
when I
yes,
see
just
him,
right down the street.
and I just pull off to the side.
Okay.
Elaine, thank you.
Yeah, of course. What's happening?
A friend of mine, Brock, runs the shelter I stay at sometimes. Something attacked him.
Are we sure it's a something or a someone? There were these kids tweaked out breaking into a shop on my
He was
my way
screaming
home.
that the thing was moving faster than anything could move and that it would attack somebody named Shelby. I don't know. He's not one to panic. I mean, he runs a homeless shelter, for God's sake. Something had him spooked, and whatever it was sounds like it hit him.
Okay. Where was he at? At the shelter still? You're running?
He was moving. Shelter's the first place I could think to start. I don't know where he was at.
It's probably best. Okay. Let's head on and she'll drive a little safely but faster.
Okay. So everyone, so we've got 3 different vehicles moving through various places, various smaller towns. And yeah, the rolling blackouts are kind of still happening. And sometimes you'll pass by a place where the lights, like the street lights are back on, you get the flashing reds. Other times you pass by, it's a completely dark street. A couple other times you see a couple fights break out here and there. You see what looks like someone, rear-ended somebody else. You can see a few folks are kind of broke down along the side of the road. Some of you maybe take the highways. Some of you take surface streets, which you kind of work this way and that. If you listen to the radio, this is expected to pass like 11 p.m. and you're looking at the clock and it's like 8:30. So you got a couple more hours where like the estimates from the different power stations like APS, Salt River Project, are all kind of throwing out these different numbers here and there. You can see other folks who, other homes, periodically here and there that still have lights on that kind of help, probably people with solar or something like that, or private generators and things that are kind of keeping on. But eventually all of you make it. And we'll say maybe, I was thinking like maybe Central City area, which is like dead center Phoenix, southeast Phoenix, something like that. Southeast to like the Stack and the highway stuff gives us the industrial area, and probably there's a handful of shelters down there too that we can kind of grip it after. Would we say that is the homeless shelter? Is it like independent? Is it sort of church affiliated or anything?
It's independent, completely independent.
All right, so you head up, and you can see that there's they've got generators, so you can see that they've got. There's lights going on here and there, and there's some folks outside that are smoking. They kind of got cigarettes. They're kind of smoking as you all kind of show up. We'll say just for ease, relatively the same time. Maybe Elaine, Quixote, you show up last because you had to take the extra trip, but already Alvin and Maria are there, and you can see that outside in this sort of parking area, there's, we'll say, half a dozen people kind of smoking around. It looks like most of them are likely staying here. Maybe one or two volunteers as well. You look inside, and you can see that there's lights on. It's warm. While there certainly is power, like the HVAC has suffered, so it's definitely warm inside. There's fans that are going here and there. Everyone's got the windows open. They're trying to do whatever they can to kind of get this place cooled down. But that's one of the first things that all of you notice, aside from these people, when you go, and it's just like the heat just hits you, like as you step out and step inside, and there's a smell as well. Like you can tell that they were cooking and they're trying their best to kind of keep things fresh. We'll say there's about maybe 4 volunteers or workers that seem to be milling about. Quixote, as you look around, you do not notice Brock anywhere. But you likely probably notice someone else you recognize for sure.
I'll walk up to one of the other volunteers, because one of the things about Coyote is he doesn't drink and he doesn't do drugs, so he's always sober when he's there, and he always pitches in to help out, and he's clean. Mm-hmm. He's kind of paranoid about being dirty after spending almost a decade in the criminally insane hospital. So he actually gets along pretty well with the other volunteers because they never have to manage him. Mm-hmm. So he walks up to one of the women that he recognizes as a volunteer. He's like, "I'm sorry, but I'm looking for Brock or Shelby. Have you seen Brock recently?"
So we'll say Lindsay. We'll say her name's. She's like she kind of looks down at you, and you can see she's got like what looks like a big old pot in her hands. Like they were like this was all kind of hit during like kind of a dinner hour or something like that, and she's moving some things around, sweat matting her hair, and she says, "No, I haven't seen Brock No, he was here earlier today, and then he left. He left like 5 or so. Shelby. Yeah, he did. He did mention something. Yeah, about Shelby. So she'll explain, like, yeah, she's run of all regulars. She's the helicopter pilot, the one who's got the coat. She was in the Air Force or something, Anyway, yeah, he was saying how he hadn't seen her for a while, and he was gonna go look for her or something. He was getting worried. I don't know. One of her family members showed up asking about her or something. It was I don't know, 5:30. It was before all this happened.
Yeah, he called me to help him out. He was out looking for her, but because of the storm and everything, it cut out. Do you know where she normally has her box, or where she stays during the night when she's not here?
No, I don't. And she kind of looks around, and she's sort of looking at all these. I mean, can ask around, maybe. I mean, they would know better than me if she's not here. I mean, I don't know everyone yet. You know, we got our regulars, we got our, you know, those who come by every now and then, but no, I don't know for sure. Some folks outside, they might know. There's a group over by the table. She kind of points to a table. There's a handful of folks that are still kind of there. A few of them are eating. One of them's looks like they're kind of taking their heads down on the table and they're sleeping a bit. There's a cot laid out where it looks like someone's kind of laying down, reading like a really worn old book. Ask around, maybe. I don't know. They're not always free with information.
Thanks, Lindsay. I appreciate it.
Yeah. No problem.
And Russ turns to the others like, did you catch that? We need to spread out and see if we can't find where the Shelby person normally bivouacs.
All right, I got it.
Okay. And you would also know he also probably has an office as well. Like you would probably say he has there's an office area too.
I can make my way back towards his office. I mean, I know the layout of the place. I'll take a look and see if he's got anything there. We just need to try to make this quick.
Okay, so Quixote heads towards the office. What do the three of you do? What do you guys want to do?
Before Quixote goes back to the office, Maria will ask, do you want me to take my van and drive around for a bit, or do you think we should talk to folks here?
I'm going to be honest with you, Maria. I still don't know the city that well. I had no idea where he was calling from. It's up to you.
Could have been too far away by then.
Yeah, I just don't know.
All right. Well, we've got it if we need it. And so she'll go in a different direction than he went to chat with somebody.
Well, he's going back into the office. So do you want to go chat with somebody? Is that what you're looking to do? So yeah, there's basically there's a group inside and there's a group outside. We'll just call it that. Like there's an outside group and an inside group. So is there one particular you want to go towards? You can tell that the ones outside, they all kind of are huddling around. Like each of them were sort of smoking here and there. And then the ones on the inside, like they seem a little quieter. So like there's like kind of a louder bunch outside, quieter bunch inside are kind of your choices.
I'll go to the bunch outside. Elaine, were you going to say something?
Elaine would probably go with you because she's got some cigarettes she can barter.
Okay.
Yeah, thinking the same thing.
All right. Alvin, what would you like to do?
Yeah, I think I'll just help out the people that are trying to take shelter from the storm here. Just try to chat them up, see if they...
Okay, the ones on the inside. Yeah. Okay, sounds good. Why don't we dive into a couple rolls and we'll see, how everyone kind of does on some things here. So Elaine and Maria will say you're together outside, so one can assist the other. So for this game, D10 dice pool, you're combining attributes and skills. In this case, it would either be, and it depends on your approach. You tell me what approach you're taking. So charisma or manipulation. Charisma if it's just sort of your natural, if you're being nice, you're trying to be charming, etc. Manipulation if you're trying to maybe if the fact that you're using the cigarettes to bribe or something that might be manipulation. So it's kind of up to you. And then skill-wise, it could be, anything from persuasion to etiquette, maybe, or if you want to get mean about it, intimidation. So those are a couple things you can choose from. So think about that in terms of your approach. And that's the same thing for you too, Alvin. But I would say for Elaine and Maria, only one of you would probably make the roll and the other can probably assist.
Okay. So one thing that I have, so I have a specialty within persuasion that is nonstop BS. That's
okay. Okay.
So if we think
does that mean like you're? Does that mean like you're a bullshitter? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. Because you're a contractor. Is that what it is? Because you're a plumber. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yep.
Do you think that would apply here? Do you think? Are you trying to bullshit these people? I don't know. You tell me.
I don't think.
I mean, not necessarily. So that's why I was just like, I have it. I have this as a specialty if it comes into play or not. But persuasion.
So we could do it one of two ways. This is our first roll, so we can kind of establish this now. Do we want to roll and then role play based on result, or do you want to role play and then I'll call for a roll based upon your role play?
I like
the idea.
knowing what the result is so that we can either be
so we
good or
can-
bad with the roll.
Yeah, I'm cool
Yeah,
either
role
way
play
with
about
it.
it.
Yeah. All right. So you just tell me, are you looking to try to just be charming and nice? Or are you looking to try to kind of bribe them? So like that kind of I think that'll determine manipulation. Or
I think we
charisma.
we're both reaching for our packs of cigarettes, I think. So
Okay,
I
so
was doing it more so as like this sense of like we've probably spoken to homeless people before, because like I had this guy when I was working at the grocery store. Every
Mhm.
time he came up to you, he asked for a cig, and like it was just kind of like polite at that point, like to just give
Okay.
one.
You know how I am. You can tell me what you want to roll, and as long as you can justify it, I say yes. So
Yeah.
if you think one approach is better than the other, so to me, just tell me.
Like
Do you want
charisma, persuasion, maybe?
Okay, that sounds great. So one of you can roll it, but the other will say can assist it because do you both have a skill point in persuasion?
I have 1 in persuasion and I have 2 in charisma.
Okay.
I've got 2 in charisma and 3 in persuasion.
So
you're
it sounds like
rolling.
Maria should be rolling, and then take an extra die from Elaine for your like your teamwork here as the two of you go out bribing with cigarettes. Okay, so for this, in terms of difficulty, I would have probably set it pretty low. I probably just said pretty straightforward, I would say. So two successes probably. Was is what you have. No problem. You have
It's
3 successes.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So walk me through. Like, what does it sound like as the two of you try to convince this somewhat kind of rowdy group of people out front to give you some information?
Maybe we would like go to opposite ends of like the group. So, we kind of split, and Maria will start talking to some people and Elaine will start talking to some people on the other end, so that it kind of quiets things down a little bit because we're pulling attention away from each other.
Hmm.
And
Probably start with the obvious, like, hell of a storm. Kind of basic, like, it is what just happened.
Yeah, they look up at you and they're like, yeah, hell of a storm. Sure. It's died down a little bit now, though, but hey, monsoon season.
It's,
it's a dry heat.
If I hear another person say it's a dry heat, I'm going to put my cigarette out in their face.
Elaine's approach is a little different. She'll be more in like, hey, so I don't mean to waste your time, so I just was hoping some of you guys could tell me where Shelby likes to shack up when she's not over here. I guess Brock went looking for her, and now we can't find him either.
Okay. So one of them kind of takes a cigarette, and you could tell they exchange people. Once you mention Shelby, you mentioned this, they kind of exchange glances a little bit. They seem a little nervous as you're asking these questions. And you offer the cigarettes that might kind of ease a little bit. And Shelby, huh? Yeah, she used to be around here a lot. It's been a few weeks though. I haven't seen her in. A lot of familiar faces haven't been turning up here lately. You would think, with storm season coming in, now's the time where we would see them more frequently. But no, they just been missing. I mean, some of them. Shelby wasn't even that old. I don't even think she was sick. She would probably kick all of our asses. Yeah, I mean, there's a few other places they go to. But it's been a few. And so they start kind of going through a couple different places. They're like, yeah, there's the railway. She could get the hub in there. That's off east, off 19th. There's Greenwood, across the 17. There's a few of the mausoleums. The doors are very easy to open, and then the trees are big enough that you can get plenty of shelter between them. And sometimes the fresh air is nice if you don't mind the company. They kind of get this like grim laughter, and then there's that one over by the sewer place. Off by the stack. Sunside. Yeah, they're out of business. Whole damn buildings, fair game. That's all I know, where she might be.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Did you guys see Brock at all today?
No, I just got here about an hour ago.
Okay.
And a couple of them were like, yeah, I've been here. I've been here since lunch. Yeah, I saw him this morning. You get a couple different answers because there's a group of people.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. You know how he is. Hot on his sleeve, wants to save everybody here and there. He was asking questions about her too, So,
Yeah, what was he asking about?
Well, where she was.
Same stuff, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, apparently, and they kind of look, and you see a couple people are kind of like shaking their heads, like, I mean, we get, it's like a war out there, we're getting, people beating us up left and right, See a few people I haven't seen for weeks. I see them, they got cuts in their faces, they got black, eyes swollen up as big as can be, They're attacking us, man.
Is
Like,
there
we
a
ain't got
spot?
nothing, and they're robbing us. And they're starting to get mad. You can see like the anger is kind of starting to course through it.
Is there a spot where you guys avoid now? Because it's not really safe. Because Brock was in danger when he called. It sounded like
The whole damn place, all this stuff. What the hell's going on around here? It's like the cops don't even freaking care anymore. I don't know why everyone's New Yorker, but we're just gonna go with it. Transplants. All right.
Well, thank you.
Okay. Let's kick it over to Alvin. Alvin, did you sort out what you want to roll as you talk to these people inside? And again, these all look tired. Like they're like, some of them are eating, some of them are kind of resting. Is there a role that you want to try to do here?
I have leadership. If there's like any like weird chaos or troubling situations happening, I can try to get the situation under control.
Yeah, it doesn't look like anything's really broken out. This is more probably just like social, charisma, manipulation, something like that. I don't think leadership really applies here.
Okay.
If you got something like persuasion maybe, or etiquette maybe even.
I am not much of a social dude, so I might just
punch
catch up
somebody
with Rust then.
Okay. So, all right. So we'll say, we haven't done Quixote's part. Okay. So yeah, you follow Quixote into the office. No one really, I would say they probably know you around here, Rust. So is that fair to say? Yeah. Yeah. They probably don't really, kind of bat an eye, and they seem really busy, kind of moving around. No one really, and that maybe even Brock has like an open door policy or something.
And I help out a lot. When Quixote's here, he's always helping out. So
yeah. So yeah, you go in and you can see the office is just, it's organized, but you can definitely tell it's smaller than it should be. There's a lot more material in here than he really has room for. A couple filing cabinets and such. You can see that there's shelves stacked up, likely probably keeping track of people, both those who work or volunteer, but also those, keeping track of those in the street. You can see that there's like, bulletin board, calendar, different events, charity venues, things like that. You can tell that, he's got computer, definitely not new. It's definitely several years out of date. It's probably still running like an older version of Windows or something like that. And there's a kind of a bad printer as well. You can see a family, we'll say. You want to say there's Brock has family, we think?
He's got, he's his parents, and he's probably got a couple of siblings that still live in Arizona, but he's got no wife, no kids.
Okay.
He's poured his whole life into this shelter.
So maybe that's what we see on the walls or on the desk. Like we see photos and frames of him with like people from the shelter, or kind of handshaking with like a local politician or something like that, or accepting a donation. You see that here and there. Some people are recognizable. Maybe there's some of the workers around here. Maybe, I'm not sure if you would have allowed yourself to get photoed or not, but you see all that as you look around. What do you guys want to do?
So to Quixote, a computer is just a very heavy paperweight. He's doesn't even know how to turn one on. So he's looking at the desk, looking for like Post-it notes. I mean, he's in the 8 months he's been out, he's very much a straightforward, sees himself as a soldier in this shadow war. And he's not really developed any investigative skills. So, I mean, he's doing the basics. He's looking for a file with the name Shelby on it, or a Post-it note with Shelby on it, because he doesn't really know how else to approach this.
Sure. What about you, Alvin? How are you from an investigative standpoint?
Oh yeah, I can do some of that. I can look into what his to do, maybe his list, his calendar.
Yeah, we can just say. I mean, we can make this investigation intelligence, or
I can help because I do have one pip in
Perfect.
investigation.
So,
Alvin,
yeah.
Alvin, I don't know how to do this stuff, Alvin. Please help me find him.
Yeah, so I'll take a look in the computer, pull up whatever I can.
Okay, go ahead and roll investigation intelligence, I guess.
And you get one extra die from me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so how are we doing the rolls? It's like that macro, right?
So you click the macro, and then your total dice pool. So you add your intelligence dots to your investigation skill dots, +1 for Quixote given you a hand.
All right.
And we'll say, usually 2. I think 2 is fine.
I think that's 3 success.
Okay. All right. So you start kind of on the computer. You kind of get through. It's, you could tell it's password protected, but at the same time, you go through a couple of the drawers. You can see the passwords written on a Post-it note somewhere on the inside, so it's not particularly well hidden. And it looks to be it's just the name of the homeless shelter. That's all it is. So it's pretty easy to get into. So you start kind of digging through some of the files on there. You dig through some of the others. You notice a few things actually. You probably, I would say, since you're on his computer, you pop up like the browser, get into his Gmail, because his Gmail like auto logs in and everything. Not the most secure place in the world. And you can see that like there's like he's been doing, he's been sending out emails. There's a lot of like standard stuff, like where he's sort of trying to solicit new donations. He's trying to kind of get people to buy, this or that, like trying to get new equipment for like the kitchen, or he's, trying to get people to do some repairs, on the cheap, something like that. But you do notice there's a few things. One is that he has been in contact with the police. So you can tell that he's been trying to communicate with them. Some of that kind of pops up in like these Post-it notes here and there. Some of it comes back on what looks like not so much Gmail, but like a Google Voice number, or one of those things pops up. And he's been trying to contact them because he wants them to look into some missing regulars. And there's there's a couple different names, and one of them is Shelby. But from what you can tell, the police have kind of like shot that down. It's not a priority. Homeless folks go missing all the time, that kind of thing. You also notice that he's been doing, when you kind of look at his sort of search history, he's been looking into a company. You can see there's a lot of like these old searches, and he's got these bookmarks here and there called Valley Medcorp. And there's specifically, as you're looking at his desk, you can see that there's a business card like sitting there right on his desk. It says Valley Medcorp, and there's a name, Wendell Drebin. And he looks like he's been kind of going through it. And if you follow some of the websites, you start kind of going through them and reading them, you can see that there's some kind of like healthcare on wheels service system, and they kind of go to different parts of the valley. They've got this kind of big old bus where they kind of do basic checkups. They kind of do flu vaccine, stuff like that. And so they have like a different list of things that they do. And then there's kind of pictures here and there, like really generic pictures of them. What looks like the Capitol building here, or they're kind of at this shelter there, or like this other spot, somewhere downtown. Like there's a handful of these like up on the about page, and their mission is just to sort of, bring healthcare, bring healthcare to those who don't have it. Is kind of the general thing that they're looking for.
This is all I could find. Something about a medcore. Contact with the police.
And so Rust has no personal boundaries. He has no frame of reference for human social interaction. So he just grabs the back of Alvin's neck in what he thinks is a very, friendly gesture, and kind of squeezes a little bit, puts his head down right next to your shoulder. He's like, "Thank you, soldier. You don't know what this means to me." And then he pulls back.
I was almost reflexively about to do like a judo move on him, but I've known Russ for quite a while now.
Yeah, maybe you feel like the muscles tense up, but like you don't go into like as if he's about to, but you know better. Like it's just like that instinct there, like the muscle memory of just like tensing up at that moment. But everything kind of settles at that point. Okay, so we'll say that round, like everyone kind of reunites at a certain point. You come back into the room, into the sort of the main room. You've gone through some of the office. You've talked to a couple of these people out here. You have a handful of bits of information. Imagine you kind of exchange. Where do we go from here?
I mean, if they mention Valley Medcore, Elaine would look up to see if it matches any of these locations that we were told about, if it's nearby any of them. Okay.
So yeah, you want to just do like a basic internet search, no problem. You can get the same bit. There looks like they have headquarters like way to the west. Their headquarters isn't like the central city area of Phoenix. It's off to the west. You can tell it's several miles west of I-17, and they're kind of attached to like there's like a whole little like sub area with like a hospital, and then there's like there's like a mental health facility and a few other things. They're kind of in this little quadrant of town, but it's nowhere near the 3 locations that you got from the people you talked to. Your 3 locations are all within walking distance of the shelter. Like, and by walking distance, I mean you can probably get there within a half an hour walking.
Elaine,
so it's not.
Elaine, can you call them and find out where their health truck was tonight or is? Maybe that'll be near one of these locations.
Let's see if there's one in the area. Yeah, I'll give them a call.
Okay, so you call up. Go ahead, Maria. You're going to say something.
Oh no, go ahead.
All right. So yeah, you do you call the number like on the website, or do you call like the number on the business card? Because there are 2 different things. Like the business card for that Wendell, the Wendell guy, or there's the Wendell Drebin, or the website that Alvin was able to pull up.
I'll probably call the website, but then I'll point for Maria to call, like as I hand her the card or whatever, if we snagged it.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, you call the number, and you get just kind of an automated response outside normal service hours. Again, it's like at this point it's roughly 9 o'clock or so at night. So your outside normal service hours gives like call tomorrow, like the number, contact again at 7 o'clock. If it's an emergency, they're like, we encourage you to dial 911. The kind of the usual spiel, but otherwise they'll be active again, and then it'll go through like this whole like dial process, and like you can kind of push some buttons, and you can get a schedule of where their stops will be for tomorrow. And so you can kind of see that there's a handful of stops all throughout like the downtown Phoenix area. None of them correspond to the specific locations, but there is like if you're kind of looking at it a little bit more closely, if you're trying to like map out whether or not the van, you can definitely tell that the van, if this is a common route, it's pretty near all. Like it'll hit near all of them to some degree. Like you can tell that the railway hub, like there's a stop nearby where there is like this, where they sometimes do what's it called, like a food truck kind of a food truck event, like they'll do that sometimes, and that's within 2 blocks of the railway station. The sewer place, not so much, because that's mostly just sort of industrial. Definitely near the homeless shelter that you're at currently, and then on the cemetery area, there's a park that kind of is across from the cemetery that the van will actually go by as well.
So Elaine will mark that out, and she'll be like, so it's kind of near, but it's not exactly there, obviously, but it stops nearby. Does it list like the time that it stops by there?
Yeah, you can tell that there's like a morning stop, and they're essentially there for like, you know, 4 hour, and then there's a break, and then there's another, like in the second half of the day, there's another 4-hour stop. And so they basically have these 2 shifts of 4 hours throughout the day.
So Elaine would prioritize like the later in the day one, whichever location that's closest to.
Okay, this is for tomorrow, by the way. This is like tomorrow's schedule.
Oh, okay. It's not okay. Elaine's presuming like it's like a daily kind of thing.
It's possible more than likely, with the way these things work, they go to the same places over the course of like an interval. It could be a week, it could be 2 weeks, but they'll hit the same spots.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, every one of the locations that you got, there is a stop for this med van very close, like within a couple blocks.
Something for us for tomorrow. So Maria's calling the Wendell Drebin phone number.
Okay. So the phone rings a bit, and it comes up to a voicemail, and you can hear it kind of go through the automated voicemail top, and then it says, and then you'll hear his voice kind of come on, and it just says Dr. Wendell Drebin, and then it goes back to automation. So he's a doctor of some kind, and then you hear the beep, and then it kind of comes on for him.
Maria will probably hang up and try him again.
Okay.
So I don't actually know if he's a good guy or not. We just know that there is a card for him, so she doesn't want to identify anything yet. And then Maria will kind of share with Rust like all the locations that we gathered from the folks out front.
What do you think? The cemetery?
Seems like we've gotten everything we can here. Hitting the road might be the best option.
Which one was it?
We've got to move. We've got to move. We got to find him.
Curious if Brock's phone still gives a signal, or if, I don't know if we tried that yet.
I would presume Russ probably called. You probably called the number back at some point, right?
Yeah.
And it just no answer.
He didn't answer. He hasn't answered. I barely know how to use this thing. I'm sorry.
We have a lane here. There's a way to track phones. Do you know one?
I mean,
I can give you his number.
How? I don't know. Personally,
It's okay if Ashley doesn't know how to do it. It's okay. Yeah. This is definitely a test. So this is the type of thing that we can do a test. Don't worry. I don't care if you know the proper tracking apps or anything like that, or how you can like hack into like, a phone's GPS or whatever. That doesn't matter. We're just going to, by the magic of our imagination. However, I do think this is going to be,
I don't have my laptop. I can't do that here.
Well, then let's just move.
There was one location that they were more nervous about than the other locations. Maybe we'll start there.
That sounds good. Let's go. And while we're in the van, Rust would call Sister Isabel LeBlanc.
Okay.
Like, Sister, don't know if you'll hear my voice again. Not sure what's going on. If you don't hear from me, we're looking into Valley Medical Corps. Maybe a Dr. Wendell Drebin. missing homeless people. Thought you should know, just in case.
Okay, just look. Are you looking to leave a voicemail, or are you looking to try to get in touch with it? Okay, all right.
That's
so we'll
it.
say voicemail kicks up, no problem. When that goes through.
And then he just says, new number on Tuesday, left in the old's place, because he breaks his burners every week.
Sure. Okay. All right.
Do you just give us your number, or
Yeah.
do you also leave it in a place for us to find?
He gives it to you. He gives it to you when he sees.
I would love it where I have to like go to like some cactus in
What
the
a weird
desert.
dead drop.
We did some very creative dead drops for our Delta Green Impossible Landscapes game. I remember this. This was fun. Ashley, did you want to roll something? You can roll a tech check. I have no problem. I mean, I'm going to set the difficulty. I'm going to set it at probably... I would set it, if you don't have like your actual equipment, I would say maybe challenging. So
What
it would,
is,
that's 4.
4.
Mhm.
Could I do like intelligence technology?
That's exactly what I would probably ask for. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah, give that a roll, and we'll see how that goes.
two successes.
Yeah, 2 successes. Okay. So like, you don't pass, but what I can do is I can give you a success like with consequence, right? It's one of those things where like I can say you pass, but there's like a negative to it in some way. So we can do that, or I can just kind of give you like incomplete information. So what I could say is that you can't necessarily locate the phone, but you can kind of narrow it down from a cell tower ping. And so you can tell that there's the way the sort of cell towers are situated around the city, that anything kind of west of the 17, I think it's the 17. Let me double check. Anyway, anything west of
You're
the
telling
17
me directions, and it means absolutely
you
nothing
live
to
here. You live here. Come on. Okay, anything west of the 17 would probably ping off a different tower. Anything east of the 17, so it's pinging off to East Tower. So what is likely would let you conclude is that the cemetery, his phone, the most recent activation of the phone was not in the cemetery. Is that it was east of the 17. So you've narrowed it down basically.
Yeah. So that's what she'll say is, so we're not going to worry about the cemetery. He's paying from here. I mean, I did kind of sloppy, so hopefully nobody noticed that I was accessing that, but we'll see.
I don't understand the magic you do, Elaine, but I'm so thankful for you.
So Maria is driving to the railway off the 19th.
Okay.
Was the Greenwood, was that the cemetery?
Yeah, Greenwood Cemetery.
Okay.
These places are loosely based off of real locations. They're not
Yeah.
like, it's not perfect because, I couldn't keep that up probably if I even tried. Okay. So where are we headed?
So we're headed to the railway off of 19th.
Okay. So yeah, you head to BNSF. It's BNSF Railway, and this is a hub. And you can tell that it's with the, there's plenty of, there's tons of tracks. There's just sort of intersection of tracks here and there. You can see that there are, it's a kind of sort of commercial as well, but there's different lines that kind of come through here. So this isn't just like, kind of commuter trains or anything like that. This is, industrial trains and things as well. So they're all kind of connecting here and there. And would we say, like I assume you're probably trying to kind of park at a distance and sort of work your way up together? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I would imagine that there's probably like a decently empty strip mall, probably like an older place like that we can kind of park the van and walk.
Yeah, I'm on board with that. We'll say, especially that area. There's probably a construction site just to the north. You can tell, dead for the night. You can probably park there, and it's a 5-minute walk south. Now, you can tell that there does seem to be activity at the hub. There do seem to be people here. Could be security, most likely, or just some late night workers and things that are kind of still working around here. You don't see any kind of like active trains currently, but you definitely see plenty that are in park. Like, and then this place is fairly big. Like, you can tell that this hub is several we'll say 1,000 square feet, probably more than that, in terms of size. There is like a centralized kind of office building area, and it looks like there's sort of a like the train platform area where like kind of people can kind of board in some locations. And then there's other places that the trains have been kind of parked off, kind of to the western side of the hub itself. But there are people moving about. It doesn't look like this is like open for business though. So what's your approach here? How do you want to go about doing this?
Would Rust know where the homeless would be staying in this area?
Yeah, it sounds like something you probably would have familiarity with.
Like a streetwise roll or something?
I'll take, yeah, sure. That sounds good. Streetwise, probably intelligence.
Sure.
I think. For you, we'll make this pretty routine. So, yeah, we'll say, yeah, this is just routine. Oh, the other thing we can start doing, I keep forgetting to do this, is that we can do things like take half and everything as well. So there are a couple rules options to kind of speed things up as this is our first time playing, obviously, so we're going to get a few things. But there's automatic wins. We'll use that in a situation like this roll here would probably have been perfect for it. If your dice pool is 2 times the difficulty of the test, you automatically pass. And so if I set the difficulty at 2, your 4 pool would have been enough. Yeah, you rolled 3, so you're good either way. And then there's like take half. Taking half is a lot like taking 20, I think, and taking 10 in Starfinder, Pathfinder. The difference there is that I don't necessarily tell you the difficulty, and you just like tell me what your pool is. Yeah, and you just hope you get enough. And then based upon what you tell me, like that'll kind of how I navigate it. But with an automatic win, it's like I tell you the difficulty is, you have the pool, and you're good to go. So yeah, you would know that they're on the western side of the hub, because like the most active area of this hub, the railway hub, is the eastern side. That's where the office buildings are. That's where the offices themselves are. That's where the train platform is for anyone who's coming down here with like an actual transport train as opposed to industrial train. But you would know that it's the kind of the industrial lines on the west side, which backs up against these like really old rickety fences that you would know there's plenty of holes and tears in them that goes into some of the other industrial parks and construction sites. So likely they're over by those fences, and they're in some of the older, more stationary trains that are there for a while, and people will probably find some kind of shelter in there. That's likely where they would be.
If he was looking for Shelby out here, he'd have started over on the west side. That's where most of the street people would either be crashing in the old rail cars or in and out some of that dilapidated area there. I haven't been over in this area myself, but I know that's where some people hole up. Maybe if we track back along that route, we might be able to pick up something.
Yeah,
move on.
Makes sense.
Should probably do this somewhat stealthily. Try to see if we can find some tracks for something that looks like running.
Okay.
That's right. We gotta be prepared for an ambush, soldiers. Let's move with care.
So we could do 2 different things. We can do 2 different rolls, and someone can take the lead on these. We could do a stealth roll. So someone can take the lead on kind of like stealth, like gaining sort of covert access to the area without kind of drawing attention to yourselves. I feel like a survival test sounds like a reasonable, or investigation, like survival or investigation to me for finding, anything else, like any tracks or any groups that might be hiding here, something like that. Awareness probably wouldn't be a bad skill to roll either, for that same, like if you're just like looking for anybody around here. So those are things that you could probably be tasked with doing. So if somebody wants to lead on those.
Russ has got a 3 in survival. So I mean he's good at living out in the streets and finding his way through things. So that's probably how he would be approaching it.
Yeah, Maria would be focused on investigation.
So I'll say, okay, so you're doing investigation, and so you're basically looking for any sort of signs of something being out of place. We'll say investigation is probably signs of out of place. Survival is probably signs of other people, like signs of like you're looking specific. I think that's a good way to distinguish those two. Alvin, Elaine, anything you two want to do?
I've got general awareness. So I'll scan the area as best I can.
Okay, just sort of kind of keeping an eye out for danger. Okay.
So then I guess I can do the stealth roll.
Okay, sounds good. So I'll say for the stealth roll, I'm not going to give you a difficulty. Just roll it and let me know what it is, because it'll potentially be a contest against others' awareness rolls. And then for the rest of you, I would say straightforward. 2 successes is probably all I would need. It's dark, still kind of stormy, so it's complicating things just a little bit. And I'm totally fine with automatic successes in this case. So if you do have a pool that's higher than that, let me know.
So his survival, Rust's survival intelligence or survival wits, either one is a pool of 5.
Okay,
so I can do automatic success.
Yeah, you'll automatically have that, sure. Okay, Melissa already rolled and rolled really well, so you got 4 successes. Okay. All right.
I also have a 5 pool.
I have a 5 pool, but it's a hidden roll, so
actually,
I only got 1 success.
Actually, Alvin, go ahead and roll yours, because yours was more like kind of general danger. Okay, so 3. And then what was your stealth roll, Elaine?
I got 1 success with 5 dice.
Okay. Now the other thing you can do, if you want, you don't have to, you can burn a willpower after the roll to re-roll 3 dice. Willpower, it would be superficial damage. So willpower is essentially mental damage, and then there's health, which is physical damage. And so if you burn a willpower this way, you would make it would be superficial damage, which comes back a little easier than aggravated stuff.
You know what? Let's do it.
You re-roll 3.
Let's
okay,
try
cool.
it.
Nice.
We're learning.
Exactly. So 3 dice.
Oh no.
Just as bad.
Okay, so still just the 1 still. Okay.
Maybe Elaine's really thrown off because she's still really uncomfortable and in like her workout gear. And like, she's still sweaty and sore from the gym, and now she's trying to be stealthy.
More than once, Mr. Ponder calls you, and you can hear your phone very loudly vibrate. Okay. All right, I'm just getting a few rolls in order. Your investigation was really good, right? You had 4, right? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I keep rolling 10s, but I haven't gotten a pair of 10s yet.
Yeah.
So
that's what criticals are in this game. You have to get a pair of 10s. Okay, so this is how we're going to play out these rolls. So the 4 of you, you try to kind of you keep a wide berth from the office building, right? Because that seems to be where the most activity is. There's lights. You can see there's flashlights that are moving about. There's people who are actively doing things here. You can see that there's emergency lights that are on by where it looks like the train platforms are, but it doesn't look like there's a huge crowd. There's maybe, half a dozen people milling about, maybe more that you can't see, but roughly like that. So you keep a wide berth. You kind of swing south a little bit. You find a way kind of through the fences a bit, and you kind of get onto the grounds themselves. You can see that this area is definitely a turnaround area for a turn where they back in, they kind of reset, and they kind of switch tracks. And there's just like a dozen different intersecting rail tracks. Plenty of cars that seem to be set up. A few of them, it looks to be you would guess probably haven't moved in quite some time. Some of them looks to be filled actually with goods, like they haven't been unloaded yet. Others look to be completely empty. As you're moving through, Alvin, one of the things you notice is that there are a couple people moving about, like doing security rounds. And so with your awareness of 3, you can see that there's two groups of like security stealth, not security guards that are moving about. But each group is one person, and they have like a dog as well. And so like you can see they got kind of dogs on leashes here and there. And periodically, as you kind of very carefully with your one stealth, doing the best you can, shushing your phone as it goes off. You can see the dog's head kind of tilt as if it heard something, but you can also tell that the security guy doesn't really seem like he cares too much. He's kind of got his phone out. He's kind of flipping through things as he's walking. One hand kind of letting the dog go, on the leash. The other hand kind of looking at his phone. And so you're able to avoid detection, but they're there. And so any kind of commotion could potentially draw them. With 2 survival, Quixote, you certainly find more than likely a handful of bits of graffiti here and there that kind of have that sort of point. They sort of point to friendly areas, places where people might congregate. But when you get to there, you can see that there's this old, likely with some kind of tool shack or sort of supply shack that doesn't really seem to be used anymore, but people have likely been shacking up inside of it. But you peek inside, and there's no one there, which is actually kind of odd. Like, you would consider that very peculiar, because with a storm that just hit, people aren't going to be picky about where they can kind of get some cover, and there's absolutely no one here whatsoever. And then Maria, as Quixote is inside the shack looking around, Alvin's keeping an eye out, Elaine doing her best to shut her phone off. Maria, you actually notice something on the ground, kind of underneath the edge of what looks like an open cart. And as you move over, you see it's a phone.
So Maria's going to go over to it and pick it up. See if it's still got a charge.
Yeah, you pick it up. There's like a bar left. Obviously, it wants like a sign in. When you kind of flip it up, we'll say that when you open it up, it's a smartphone. It's older model, but when you open it up, you can see that it has like a kind of a pixelated image of a photo you just saw as you were inside the homeless shelter. You saw a framed photo of like what looks like volunteers and regulars within the shelter and Brock Davies, and you can see that same photo is on this phone. You would surmise it's probably his phone.
So I am going to look around and quickly get over to Rust. I think this is what we're looking for. I think he was here. And Maria will hand the phone over.
Where'd you find this?
Just right there, right by the open door. You should try calling it. See if this is.
Yeah, of course. And so he'll dial the number of Brock's.
And it goes off, and you can see it pops up.
It's his phone. I don't know how to do anything with it. Can you see what else he was doing?
So I'll try to see if I can just answer it, since it was ringing, and see if I can.
Yeah, you can answer it. I don't think that would still let you, since I don't think it let you talk. I'd probably let you answer, but I don't think it actually let you access apps or anything like that on the phone.
Yeah, it's probably locked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I would hand the phone over to Elaine. Is there anything you can do with this?
I mean, what do we know about him? Like, I could guess a password, but like, I can't. I'm not home. I can't break into it.
The shelter's his whole life. I mean, maybe, I don't know, the address of the shelter, or I don't know.
Didn't you guys get into his computer?
Oh, I did not. Alvin did. He's a genius.
It was just the name of the shelter, but if it's a passcode, I don't know what it would be.
And so,
if you just want to try to guess, I'll say this is going to be because this is more about kind of trying to guess his password and like
Yeah.
who he is. I would say insight wits
Inside.
probably makes the most sense, right?
I have 6.
Obviously, I'm open to other
Ooh.
things.
That would be a
And
6.
I would put the difficulty, though, this is going to be a little bit harder. I'll put this at challenging.
Since I have 1 pip in insight, and I know Brock, could I
Yeah.
assist her?
Absolutely. I think that makes sense perfectly.
So you get 7
Bastard.
dice.
Bastard is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
4 successes.
We got
And a
a
crit.
Crit.
Got a first crit. Okay. You do. So crits
6
in this game,
successes.
when you roll a pair of 10s, okay, not only do you get a success for each one of the 10 like normal, but you get 2 extra successes on top of it. So you have the 4 successes that we see plus the 2 for the crit. And then crits, just like any other game, when something crits, you kind of try to, make it nicer in the fiction, etc.
Mhm.
So first try, you kind of put the password in, and it pops open, and the first thing you see is a grainy photo. It's like this was, you could see it, like it's right there. It's one of the other apps that was open. He has his phone up. He had taken a photo, some sort of like grainy photo. You can tell it was kind of taken in the middle of the dust storm, like outside, and it's really hard to see. And you can tell that he was here because you can see what looks like these familiar train cars. And you see a figure, like on top of one of the train cars. And they have what looks like some kind of, you would probably recognize it as like a kind of a military jacket of some kind, maybe a pilot, like some sort of like heavy. It was nothing formal, but it definitely has that kind of look to it. But it's fairly baggy. You can't make out like the face of the person. They're kind of turned ever so slightly. But there's kind of a vagueness to it here and there. Arms kind of lanky, but it could just be a fairly skinny person. But you can tell like the clothes are fairly baggy on them, and you can see that they're up on top of the train cars in the area as the wind and the dust is kicking around.
And Elaine will kind of like show that to Coyote and be like, is this that jacket that you were saying that Shelby tends to wear?
It's hard to tell on that photo. Does that look like something I would recognize, or?
It's definitely. I think we established earlier that you didn't know Shelby.
Yeah.
So, but you would. I think you could recognize it. You would be able to recognize it as a military jacket. But beyond that, like, you wouldn't know for certain.
Yeah, I didn't know Shelby. I know she wore a military jacket, but
What the hell
I
is
just
she
don't
doing
know.
on top of a train car?
There might be photos back in his office of different people. That might be a way to confirm it, but it doesn't help you right now.
Can we track back to where this train car is from this photo and maybe look around there? Do we looking around? Do we see that train car?
Yeah, you could certainly move around and look and sort of take an assessment. Yeah.
Is there anything else that I can find on his phone?
Yeah, you go through, and similar to the PC that Alvin was going through, you kind of you get some sort of searches here and there. You also have what looks like numbers. Like you look at his call history, you can see that he called Quixote, but you can see like other numbers that he has saved. It looks like a lot of the other people who work at the shelter. You recognize one number because Maria dialed it earlier tonight. Wendell Drebin, that number that pops up. You can see that popped up a couple days ago, and then you also notice that there is a number for a detective. There's a number for a detective that'll pop up because it actually is entered in DET, and it says Emerson Villafranco. And you can see that there's a couple that number shows up a couple times.
Okay.
The Dr. Drebin, was that incoming or outgoing? Like he called Dr. Drebin?
It was
or Dr.
outgoing.
Drebin called
It was
him?
outgoing.
Okay.
Yeah. And I would say it actually had a duration to it as well. Like yours, like you got a voicemail and you didn't talk. It looks like in the call records, the call history, that there was like a good 15-minute conversation.
And then the calls with the detective were both ways, like incoming?
Yeah,
and
both
outgoing?
ways, and like a couple of them you can tell were hit or misses. They were voicemails. A couple of them are longer conversations here and there. But you can, and these go back what looks like a couple weeks actually. You can tell that these conversations have likely been going on, whatever they were, have been going on for a couple weeks.
Maria will look over to Alvin and just say, like, I don't know that I'm much for climbing up there, but I'm going to get up there and see if you see anything.
Yeah, not much down here. I'll take a higher point.
Just be careful of those guards.
Okay. Alvin, you start climbing up. Those of you that are in the shack, however, you do notice that the shack has definitely been lived in. Like you can tell that there's people who have made this place home here and there. And you have more of like the graffiti and stuff that are in here. It looks a mess, but it looks a mess in a way that is that lacks kind of a logic to it, right? So like if any of you have ever kind of gone to like a kind of a downtown sort of run of like a homeless village and stuff, there's like a logic to it, in times. And so you can tell like there's specific places where people have kind of set up. Like it definitely looks like stuff has kind of been knocked over here and there. It doesn't so much ring, and I'm just going to roll over like the investigation from before and the survival. You guys can piece this together. It doesn't really ring like the sense of like a fight. It doesn't really look like there's like a lot of like huge blood stains or anything like that, but you can tell like something happened here. But the other thing you notice is there's a book on the ground. It's like a sketchbook. You can see it's the spine itself is kind of ripped. And you can tell that, I guess you start sort of, as you open it up, you can tell it looks to be some kind of sketchbook here and there. And for like the first like 7/8 of the book, it's actually a pretty good sketchbook. Like it's like you could tell whoever was using this had a good eye, and it's people and it's street corners, things like that. Like it's like someone has been watching and sketching what they see as they kind of sit around. But then there is a stark contrast for like the last handful of pages that are filled, and there's a couple others that are blank, where you just see something shifted, and it looks like there's shadows of people. Like kind of, it looks like depth perception is sort of gone. It looks like there's every one of the depictions, there's no longer just the mundane day. It is now something violent. It is like a crime scene. It is someone being attacked. It's a hulking figure. You can see someone cowering. You can see someone kind of covering their head in pain. And you can also tell that the quality of those sketches has drastically gone down. Like it is nowhere near as good. Like the depth perception is no good. The shading, the penciling in is off here and there. Everything's grayscale. It's as if like someone's trying to shade in a specific section, but they're missing. And it's kind of off to the right or off to the left. Like it's not quite where it should be.
When looking at the earlier pictures versus the later ones, even though the later ones are very different quality, based on the penciling and the strokes, does it look like it was the same person who did the sketches, or?
Is like an art thing in here? Do we have an art skill or something? Trying to see if there's like an art.
I think that might be
There's
under
craft.
craft.
Craft?
It might be like
Craft.
a specialty under craft.
I'll take a craft, like intelligence, and I'll put this at like a difficulty, I don't know, 2.
Okay. So yeah, he's looking. He doesn't know what he's looking at or looking for, really. He's just trying to piece it together because his craft is 0 and he's not the brightest ball.
Somebody else can help as well. Don't forget about that. Okay. You can always spend a willpower to roll the 4 if you wanted.
It's okay. It would be
yeah.
something he would fail on hard.
Yeah.
so.
I mean, that's certainly your hunch, but it's the evidence. It's hard to say whether whether your hunch is justified. Maybe if you get it to somebody who's a little bit more skilled in assessing art, they might be able to make that conclusion for you.
Maria Lane, you see this? I can't tell. I mean, it goes from being really good art to, I don't know, something like one of my nightmares. At the end there, I can't make anything of it though.
I don't know, and I'm guessing you looked for the obvious, initials, or did they sign it or anything like that?
Yeah, no, I didn't. I was I got kind of caught in the pictures. That's a good idea though.
I will say, because I don't want to make him look like an idiot. No, there's no. They're not signing it. Yeah, that would be funny, but no.
It's the kind of thing he'd miss. I mean,
That's fair.
he comes from such a different world. He's still trying to figure out how to live in this one.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead, Elaine.
Elaine will snap a few pictures of them, of each page.
Sure.
On her phone. And could I do like an occult roll to see if anything coincides that I would notice? Like maybe hit like symbol or some like in the imagery.
Like if it's like representative of something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead. And, I'll just make this difficulty 2. Pretty straightforward.
I'm strong in occult, so I could aid you with that.
Lend an aid, yeah. As you're
Would
all
it be
looking, yeah.
wits or intelligence?
I think wits is like quickness, like quick, like you're quick-witted, like it's like, so it's something that happens fast. Intelligence is just knowledge, I think. So I think this case it's probably intelligence, maybe.
Okay, I'm at a 5.
That's how I'm making it work. You're at a 5, so yeah. Between the two of you, there's nothing in here that suggests anything that you would associate with any kind of known like hunter quarries that you've had. Nothing that suggests like anything from like Society of St. Leopold or any other cult symbology, anything like that.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
while the 3 of you are in here, Alvin's been climbing up a cart, one of these train cars. Alvin, you get to the top, and as you're up here, you look around, and the first thing you notice is that one of the dogs is running free, a good 50 yards away. It's kind of in the dark, but there's some lingering light here and there, but it's very, very dark. But you can see him running free, and he's kind of like just like running like a bat out of hell back towards the offices.
I'll just tell the others downstairs that the dog has caught something. I'm going to follow it. And I'll try to chase while on top of these train cars if possible.
Okay, so you're running along the train cars. Okay, and you're trying to chase the dog. The dog is like its leash is still. It's like its leash is trailing him, and it's like running as fast as it can in a direction.
Where was its handler, Alvin?
I'll point out where it was.
Yeah, you kind of have a vague idea based upon where they were, but you're looking around, and from up here, you're looking, and I'll say from up top, you do actually notice like a shadow, a figure. You can see you can see the light from like a cell phone, like the cell phone screen is kind of imbuing it ever so slightly, and you can see that there's like two legs on the ground that's kind of partially obscured by like the cart, like the train car itself, and it's just kind of there, and the legs are kind of twitching.
See if I can make my way over.
Okay. Are you running
I
as
would
fast as you can, or are you doing this in a stealthy manner?
I'm not really stealthy, so I'll just go as
Okay.
quick pace.
All right. So you shout down. You're up top. You shout. You like you. Well, I'm not. You don't necessarily shout like it, but you let them know. So it's communicated. What are the three of you doing?
Yeah, Maria's like, you guys are looking at the art stuff. I'm gonna go see what Alvin's up to, and so she's gonna exit and try to track where he went.
Okay. Are you on the ground and you're
Yeah.
just kind of like pacing him
Yeah.
from the ground? All right.
Yep.
Quixote and Elaine, I know you've been looking at the art, but you're aware of this happening. So what would the two of you be doing?
I've already taken my pictures. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, Rust would he'd be quietly trying to stealth around, try to box out a little bit and come at the site from a different angle.
Okay. So go ahead and roll stealth. Roll it like normal and just let me know what you got.
Stealth and dex.
Yeah. And anybody else who wants to stealth, I know you said no, Alvin, but if anybody else wants to, go ahead and let me know what you roll.
2 successes.
Okay.
That's funny. That's the total number of dice that I'm rolling. That's 1.
1 success as well. So I'm just
All right.
trailing behind Maria.
Okay. I'll say, Elaine, Maria, you two are kind of pacing. You're behind Alvin. You're ways behind. You're kind of moving up more closely. Alvin's the furthest ahead. He's also not moving up stealthily, so he's going to be there first. Quixote, you're taking a kind of a wider berth, and you're trying to box this, trying to come from a different angle, basically. Okay. So, Alvin, you get up close. You're still on top, and you get to the edge. You're moving without any real care for noise, and you can hear your boots on the top of this train thump 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 thump. You start hearing the sounds of a dog barking, that very dog that you saw like just bolt away, and it's like, and you can hear it's half barking, like half yelping, like something's wrong with it. And when you look down, you can see it's not just two legs that you see twitching as if like with the toes pointed up in the air, but you see there is another figure on top of those legs, which are twitching. And you can see that there's this heap of cloth on the ground, like a coat that's just kind of spread on the ground. And as you look, you see the back. It's not clothed. It's whatever this is. They're not wearing it's like they almost like they shed the coat itself. Like they had this coat and now it's fallen down to the ground. And what you instead see, it looks like skin, but in this somewhat kind of transparent, like wrapping. Almost like a mummy in a way, but instead of it being cloth that's wrapping, it almost seems like skin with these seams between each like row of skin wrap. And you also notice, in addition to this, like these lanky arms with these kind of bulbous elbows, you can see the hands are kind of obscured, and whatever this is, you can't really see who it is they're sitting on, but you can conclude it's likely the security guard. But as you're watching, you notice some of the seams just suddenly kind of split apart, almost like an eye opening. And as you watch, you do in fact notice an eyeball begin to sort of push outward from between the seam of skin, and then another and another. And you see this body kind of whip around and look up at you, and you see a face with no nose, with no mouth. All you see are eyes in skin everywhere. And I think we'll end on that because we are at our 2-hour time. And we will end right there.
Thank God.
I actually also have I'll show you the picture of it too before we quit. Yeah, I got a picture of this. So
And the skittering in the music.
It's perfect.
I told you, I getting to my Delta Green music. This is great. Let's see. All right, here I'll show. This is the one from the book. So that's what it looks like in the book.
Oh, that's horrifying.
Yeah.
Isn't that great? And so
Yeah.
then I've been playing this week with what's it called? I've been playing this week with Midjourney, which is like AI art, and you can kind of put in prompts.
Oh, what'd you make?
And so I was messing around with it. I wanted to see if I could get something similar to it. And so this is the one that I made. And I'll show this to you all too. And when I say I made it, I put the prompt in. The AI art did. And so this is what it came up with.
Oh my God.
Oh.
Oh,
That's
that's
gross.
disturbing.
That is
Wow.
what's now staring up at Alvin as he looks down over
Wow.
the side of the card. Okay.
That's so horrifying.
Oh my gosh.
All right, and that is where we will end our first proper session of Hunter. How we like it? We liking it so far?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
That's
setting is great.
awesome.
Oh yeah.
So much fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad to get a game of this under my belt. I always feel better about games after about running games after I've played them at least once or twice.
I really
all
like,
right.
I really feel like I've got a good sense of like all the characters.
I know.
like-
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like that
Okay.
too.
Yeah.
You put an 8-year-old, you left an 8-year-old kid at home alone in the
In a
middle of a
monsoon.
dust storm.
Okay, I trust her.
With bro.
No helicopter parenting there.
None whatsoever. It's like, she's got to learn to do this on her own, you know?
She's tough. She can handle it.
I also appreciate
Oh,
the
God.
anxiety of chat being like, there's a neighbor she knows she can go to.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're gonna have
Well, someone
this
mentioned like
taken care of.
CPS. Like someone's calling. Like that's what's gonna happen at some point. Alvin's gonna get CPS called in. Your wife is gonna be so mad when
Oh,
she
boy.
finds out. Oh goodness. So actually, do we want to do? So there are questions for advancement we can do really fast.
Okay.
I haven't decided if I wanted to do the questions or if I wanted to do this like,
Milestone?
just sort of, like a milestone thing. But because this is like our first session, let's just do the questions and then we can kind of figure that out later. So let me pull.
I'm just
going
going
to
to minimize this little thing so that it's not continuing.
No.
to stare
You
me in
have
the
to
face.
stare at it the whole time. It's so fun using like the AI thing, like because it gives you all these different options and like so all I was doing for a while. It's amazing how many people in that Discord are demented like me. So it's really great. Like I was like stuff was popping up and like some of our other friends like Steven and stuff and Adam like we were sharing our creations. It was
Where
pretty
is
great.
this?
It's going to be my new phone background. I mean, people will definitely leave me alone whenever they see me on my phone now.
All right. Experience points on 82 to 83. Okay. Oh yeah, that'll definitely lower your charisma. Okay, so there's a couple different ways we would do it. I figure let's just do the questions for now, and then we might change it. So you get 1 point for participation. So you get everyone gets one for that. Perform something remarkable during the session, and the whole table's appreciation of the character doing or saying a certain thing. So this is sort of like, does anyone think that somebody or themselves did something like that?
That was a pretty
Something-
average session.
You know,
Yeah.
Nothing too
Alvin
crazy.
getting that computer logged in, you know?
Remarkable? I don't know.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's
Use
pretty-
a skill.
Kyoto
edge-
thought it was remarkable. He's
Right.
like,
That's fair. That's fair.
that's magic. It's absolute magic.
Let's see. So that's and then use a skill, edge, or other trait in a clever or critical way. I think you can get it for that. Take it for that for sure, because that was fairly critical. You got some info.
Mhm.
Anybody else use a skill in a way that we think gave us some important info or an edge or trait?
Getting into the phone, maybe? Or
Yeah.
no?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm cool with that. I think
Yeah.
Kyoto and Elaine did that together. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah,
And
you
Elaine
both
also
take it.
kind of did the like triangulation stuff.
And then
That's true. That was a big deal. That was a
Yeah.
very big deal. The triangulating the locations.
Let's see. And then tell me something important your character learned this session. So what is something everyone learned this session?
That fucking thing exists.
You don't know. You don't know. Only Alvin knows.
I know.
And
He'll
he's
never be
about
the
to be
same.
dead, so it doesn't matter. And you're still never going to know.
No, we did learn that the homeless population, a lot of people have been going missing lately. Something's preying on them.
Yeah.
Yep. I think that's fair. And then
we
the other one
learned
is
that
like
the police are obviously not
not
invested in it
helping.
at all. So
Yeah.
either they're complacent or just don't care. We're not sure
Yeah.
which.
Yeah.
Or
So I feel like
complicit.
everyone can probably take like 3. Just take 3 XP.
Yeah.
And then let's see, experience points. If you have 3, you can technically, I think you can spend 3 right now. The only thing you can really get is a perk or specialty with 3 experience points. Other things are scaled. So like if you have no dots in a skill and you want to get the first level of a skill, you can spend something. This is all on page 82. So if you want to see what you can spend it up, but I'll put some handouts up on Foundry as well for us to mess around with. But we'll just say, just to make it even, everyone's got 3 for now, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Yeah.
Did
all right.
everybody hit your desire?
No, I wasn't even able
No.
to do
Yeah.
anything with my desire. I
Mine's
mean, I could have, but I didn't.
Mine's to hunt down a source for a well backstopped ID, because currently, he's just a escaped mental health patient with no identification whatsoever. So,
Yeah.
but
Well,
nothing.
the other thing is it's first session, so I kind of
Yeah.
force the hook on you, the call to
Yeah,
adventure,
for
and
sure.
then it'll kind of spread out from
Did
here.
you?
Kind of.
Elaine, did you do something with your?
I kind of forced it.
What did you do? What was your drive?
No,
Your
not my
desire.
drive. My
Sorry,
desire was just
yeah.
to
Desire, yeah.
help my neighbor.
Oh,
My drive overall is to keep the neighborhood safe, but I absolutely didn't, or my ambition, but I did
No,
not do that very
That's
well.
fair. So I mean like desire is supposed to be, you should be it's be something you could do pretty much every session. Like it should be so like you're welcome, and you're welcome to change them. Like they're not permanent. If you feel like, okay, well after this session there's no way I'm going to get this done, so let me go ahead and change it to something that's more reasonable.
Yeah,
like you can
yeah.
totally do that for next session. Ambition,
All of
I
ours
think,
for next
is
session is to kill this thing.
uh-huh.
Yeah,
or something.
Or die
Or
to it,
something.
You are
Cody's desire would definitely change to find out what happened to Brock. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if there are any specific rules, but like I feel like a desire. I mean, I don't see any reason why you couldn't change it mid-session. Ambition,
Yeah,
I think,
that
is
makes sense.
different though. But
Yeah, that's kind of long term.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm liking this so far.
Mhm.
Too.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
Awesome.
fun.
So much fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Melissa knows how much I've been stressing about this all week. All right. So we'll be back the plan right now is 2 weeks, I think. So that's the 15th, assuming everyone's available, but we'll post about that. So we're going to be doing this every other Friday. We alternate between this and a mothership game. You can see some of the people here in that. Aaron's not on that one, but we got Derek and Steven, who are in some of our other games. They pop into that game instead. Aaron, what are you doing Garblag next week? You got a bunch of games, right?
Well, next week. we've got a
next
couple.
Thursday.
Only got one actually next week. So next Wednesday over in Garblag at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, we'll be playing some more Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th Edition. Once Upon a Time in the Old World, where we're in the Moot Land, helping some halflings find a missing wizard or dying trying. And then my wife's birthday's on Thursday, so that's it for me gaming wise. Otherwise, I would be getting a divorce.
Exactly.
Happy birthday!
For you.
Very nice.
She's
let's see.
a young 51, but don't tell her I told you.
Oh,
Oh, are
my.
you- she's
Secret
It's,
Secret
it's okay. There is no evidence that you told us. This hasn't been a recorded.
Fortunately, she
Doesn't
never
watch.
watches what I do. So
There you go. You're in the clear then. Let's see. As for us, Ashley hates us and doesn't want to play One Ring with us, so we can't play One Ring tomorrow.
No, you're supposed to be on vacation.
That was
No,
the-
I'm
the
sorry.
plan.
This is all on you. This is Ashley said I'd rather not play with you all anymore. So no Wondering tomorrow, but you can. I will be on Grim and Perilous Plays tomorrow night, running Heart, so you can kind of catch me there. And then Sunday, I'll be on Steam Still Murder. Our friend Bert has been running Shadowrun for quite a time now. And so we get to hop in that. And then, fortunately, no Holler on Monday. It is 4th of July, so we're going to take that off. And then, Wednesday, Defenders. Thursday, Garblack. And we'll be back next Friday with more Mothership.
Mothership.
Thank you for everyone who hung out tonight. Thank you for those of you who are watching this later on VOD or on YouTube. We're going to go ahead and raid our friends at the Fenders of Kobold, who are currently playing some DCC. So hang tight, follow the raid, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you.